You know, I kind of feel European because that's where I found Herbalife, here in France. And this was in June of 1991. Vive la France! And actually, how I learned to do the business and my start and the relationships and the friends, everything that I created from the beginning in Herbalife actually happened here in Europe. So I do have an international business, and in 15 years it's unbelievable what happens. But what's so incredible is when you look sometimes at the people on stage here and you see them and you see the income that they're earning and the lifestyles that they have, it's just sometimes hard to understand or to relate to where they came from. Because I never ever imagined that I would be on stage talking to people. From about the age of 15 years old, my dream was to become a cyclist and a professional cyclist. And I left the United States, and I can remember it was when I was a teenager. I was watching on the TV in the United States, and I was seeing Bernard Hinault and Greg LeMond go up Alpe d'Huez together. And at that time, I had already started riding, and I said, that's what I want to do with my life. And when I was 19, I moved from the United States to live in France, to race bicycles. And my dream was to become a professional cyclist and to race in the Tour de France. That was what I wanted to do. It was my dream to win the Tour de France, to do that. Did any of you see me on television ever before in the bicycle racing? No? Me neither. So this was part of the problem. And the truth was I was a good cyclist, but I wasn't a great cyclist. And I was living in France. I loved everything about France and the culture and Europe, and I didn't want to go back to America. But I didn't know what I was going to do because I didn't have any education, formal education. I had only spent really all of my time in my life riding and racing bicycles, and I had no experience of any type of work whatsoever. But I was lucky enough to find a little newspaper ad that said, American company looking for dynamic people, call. And I came down to an Herbalife meeting. And like so many of you here, one way or another, you found Herbalife and it changed your life. And whether or not today you are where you want to be, you are on the pathway to having all of your dreams come true. Because if I look in the last 15 years of what's happened, it's unbelievable. This is my third year now where I'll be making over $1 million. $1.15 million in 2004, $1.35 million in 2005, probably $1.45 million this year. So here's the reality. You know, Michael said this morning, he said, teamwork makes the dream work. And I don't know whether you got that in the translation, but the teamwork makes the dream work. Guess who are the ones that with the doctors and with the executive team and with the best products, guess who are the ones that make it happen? That's the Herbalife distributors. We're a part of the team. We're all a team together. And the reality is this is really the dream team. We've got the best executives, the best CEO, we've got the best doctors, we've got the best products, and we've got the best distributors. And that's absolutely the dream team. That is Herbalife. Absolutely. So, here's the question. Because if you look at what's happened with the company overall is doing amazing. We've gone from 2.1 billion to 2.5 billion to this year 3 billion. And here's the reality. The 3 is going to happen, no question. The 5 is going to happen, no question. The 10 is going to happen, no question. The 15, the 20, the 25, it's going to happen, no question. And yes, Mexico is leading the way, and Mexico has shown us what's possible. And I just say what's possible because it is possible, but even more than that, who knows what really is possible in the future. Because $1 billion, Mexico will be close to becoming the first country to do $1 billion all by themselves. But are there any other countries here that think or would like to do $1 billion? Any countries? Yeah, any countries? Is there a country called Germany in the room? Germany, Deutschland? Yes? Well, here it is. Here it is. You have 80 million people in your country. Think about this. If one out of every 100 people were using our products every single day, a simple program, 80 euros, 90 euros, whatever, $100 worth of product. If 1 out of 100 were using it every single day, do you know how much in sales that would make in Germany on a monthly basis? 80 million? 1% using $100 worth of products? That's 80 million. 80 million times 12? That's 1 billion. 1 billion, if you get 1 out of 100 people to believe in our nutrition, to use the products for their life, for the best health and wellness that they can possibly have. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that's an impossibility? 1 out of 100? Mexico found the way for them to take the products to the people, to get those kinds of numbers of people to use the products. So let's ask the question here. Is it really possible that with our company, with the brand that we have, with the products and the science and the doctors and with the distributors, that we can find a way to get 1 out of 100 people in our countries to use the products? Is that possible, or am I just crazy here? It's absolutely possible. Yes? Absolutely possible. So, absolutely, it's possible. There is 500 million people, 500 million people in this region represented in this room. 500 million people. If just we get 1% of them to understand our products, the value that they bring to them, to use the products, that's actually $6 billion a year just with the business that we represent in this room. 6 billion. Guess what happens when you get 1 out of 100? Then you just go get 2 out of 100. And guess what happens when you get 2? It's actually getting easier to get 3. And when you get 3, it actually gets easier to get 4. So here's the reality. Mexico is leading the way. The numbers that they're doing, the $1 billion in a market of 100 million people, it's happening. And they're leading the way. Here's our question. How? And you know what? Nutrition clubs will play an important role in the future of all of our business here in the room. And like Marcus said, it's going to take a while to figure it out. And you know what? Some people are going to take it on faster than other people. And the reality is what we're doing already is working, but we just need to get better. We just need to do it better. So it all goes back, and to be honest with you, the more time goes on, the more I understand that actually Mark Hughes had it all figured out at the first day. Mark Hughes had it all figured out. And here's really what he summed it up with. Care more about your customers than the money that you make from them. And you should care more about your distributors than the money that you make from them. And you know what? Absolutely. Mark Hughes said it time and time and time and time again. Care more about your customers than you do about the money, and care more about your distributors than you do about the money that you make from them. That is, in essence, how we go wherever we want to go in the future. When we sell a product to someone, do we sell it to make the money and put it in the pocket, or do we sell it to change their lives? And how do we change the lives of people? Listen, you teach them about why our products make a difference for them. If they keep using the products just like all of us use the products in their lives every single day, it'll change their lives. There's no question about that. How do we change the lives of our distributors? We don't bring distributors into the company so they leave and aren't successful. That's not the goal of bringing a distributor in. Because if you care more about the success of your distributor than you do about the money you're going to make from them, guess what? What you want for your distributor is for them to stay and be successful in the business. So here it is, it's very simple. What we want is we want to have as many customers as possible and have as many customers stay on our products. We want maximum customer retention. We want a maximum amount of customers and a maximum amount of retention. And we want a maximum amount of distributors and a maximum amount of distributor retention. So here's the thing. Marcus talked about a little bit of, it doesn't matter, just do it. The reality is that there's a lot of methods that are already out there, and they're working. And then there's methods that are new for us that we need to learn about so that we can duplicate the results. So if we look at all of the methods, and by the way, when I hear about Mexico, guess what I'm interested in? Because if you think about this year there's 70 president team members that have qualified in the company so far. 37 of them have come from Mexico. It's a staggering amount of people. When a country is doing that much business, it's really staggering what's happening. And success builds on success. So the success of our customers and the success of our distributors is the most important thing for all of our business. So the company actually a few months ago, when we had our leadership meeting in Boca Raton, Florida, they announced something that they called the Circle of Success. And actually, it's quite interesting because as a distributor, I spent most of my time just trying to get customers and get distributors and do what I was doing. But when they announced the Circle of Success, it actually kind of made sense. And it made sense in a way that was so clear that it was kind of like, well, that's all we have to do is just make sure the Circle of Success happens. So let's have a look at what the Circle of Success is. And actually, to sum it up, it's a maximum success for your customers and the maximum success for your distributors. And that's probably why it's called the Circle of Success. But if we look at our business, there's some pillars. You know, for the last 15 years that I've been in the business, and I imagine the last 26 years, this has always been something that's been a driver in our business. Results. Mark Hughes taught us from day one that there's nothing more important than your testimonial. Alan Lorenz, from the day I signed up in this business, taught me there was nothing more important than my testimonial. The results that people get have always been a foundation in the business and in the products. The recognition, look what's happening here this weekend. You cannot go to another place where you will see more results in one room, more recognition in one room, and these are pillars that have been the foundation of our success for 26 years and continue and will always be the foundation for our success. The next thing is socialization. When you get people together and they've got a chance to get to know each other and a human being being in relationship with a human being, magic happens. It really is a foundation, and it's something that's been an important part of our business. I remember from my early days in the business, going to the HOM or going to a meeting, and the meeting has one part, but there was the after meeting and getting to know the people and getting to know my distributors and getting to know my upline and getting to know my sidelines. That's been one of the reasons that I've stuck around in the business. The friendships, the relationships, the socialization. And the last part is the community. Mark Hughes, 26 years ago, had a mission. And you know what he's built around the world? In 20 years, he built a community of people around the world that were committed to changing people's lives. He built, perhaps, and he said it time and time again, that if we keep doing what we're going to do and what we're doing, we will make the world a better place for people to live in. That's what Mark Hughes said at every single meeting that I've ever been to, that I was ever at with him. That was it. This is our community. This is who we are. This is what we do. These things are pillars, and if you think in your business, for those of you that have been in for a while, you recognize that those are things that are driving parts of your business, that are there, that make you be in the business today. And so the circle of success, that's the background for that. It really is the foundation in which all of our success is built on. It's how we get people on the products. It's how we get people into the business. It's a foundation. So when Mark Hughes says care more about your customers than you do about the money you make on them, it's something that if you really truly think about it, if we do focus on the success of our customers and we want the success of our customers, it's actually quite simple. You just have to make sure you do a good job with your customers. You have to make sure you do care about their results and them more than the money that you make. So the first part of the circle of success, and this is a foundation, this is a cycle for your business, is really building a lifelong, long-term, lifelong customer group. And here's the reality. How many of you in the room have sold products to someone and they stopped using the products? Did that ever happen to anyone here? Everybody's got their hand raised. Are you going to get everyone that you sell the products to use your products forever? Is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. The reality is that it's not going to happen. But here's what you want. As many of them that you can, you want them to become long-term and lifelong users of the products. When you focus on what works to bring in customers, not to use the products today and to stop using them next month, but to really bring them in with a commitment and a perspective of lifelong usage, it makes a world of difference. And that is how we help our customers to be successful. That we help our customers not to just try the products, but we help our customers to use the products to get the results they're looking for. And we help our customers to have results not just for a few months, not just for a few years, but for a lifetime. So if we think about the first part of what Mark Hughes said was, care more about your customers. Bringing your customers in with a lifelong, long-term commitment is going to give them results, and it's going to be the best way you can care for them. Now, there's many ways to do that, and you're going to hear about that, but at some point a presentation has to happen. Someone has to make a decision to start on the products. Does that mean they're going to use them forever because they at one time made a decision? No. So you have to think about not just how we're going to get customers on the products, but how are we going to keep customers on the products? And customer retention, you know, we all know, by the way, that if we don't do follow-up, what do we know about our customer retention if we don't do follow-up? Yeah, it's going down. So we already know, by the way, that follow-up is important for customer retention. Why? Because the focus on having our customers and their success be more important than the money that we're making, it's happening. So here's the situation, by the way. That's the customer side of it. The funny thing is, actually, if you care more about your customers than you do about the money that you make from them, what'll happen automatically? If you start bringing in customers with a long-term, lifelong perspective and you keep them, what happens to all of you in the room here if you now do that? And it's not that you sell 10 products this month and then next month they don't return and you have to sell another 10 products or how many ever, and that after 1 year you only have a few customers but you sold to many. We're talking about you sell to 10 customers this month, next month 5 or 7 come back and you get another 10, and the next month 5 or 7 of those come back and you get another 10. Now you have 20 some customers. And we're talking about the next month you do the same thing and you have the customers you're retaining customers. And after a few months, however your plan is working, that you actually have customers that are going to be using your products forever. How many of you would like to have that happen in your business? Absolutely. Now let me ask a question. If this was happening for you, and it's happening for your distributors, would anyone have a reason to leave the business? No. So actually, distributor retention is actually solved by customer retention. Meaning if you get the customers on the products and they stay on the products, you wouldn't leave the business and your distributors wouldn't leave the business. How interesting is that? So what ends up happening is that if you are getting customers with a lifelong perspective, and you are solving the answer to keeping them as your customers, you actually solve the solution for distributor retention. Now, if we're going to actually go out and get 1 out of every 100 people in Germany to use the products, are all of the people in Germany here today enough to get that many people on the products? No. You know what has to happen? We need distributors to do that. You have to have distributors to do that. If you look at the growth in Mexico, here's what's growing. Customers, sales, distributor growth, it's all growing. But they've got an optimum way of having the success in each of the parts of the circle of success. You resolve how to get customers to come in as lifelong customers and keeping them. You resolve distributor retention. Guess what the next thing that happens is, and it's almost automatic, and you're going to hear about that this weekend. If your distributors are making money and they've got customers that are there every single month, distributor recruiting becomes automatic. Yes, because the business works. Because people are making money every single month. When they talk to their friends, or their friends say, last month you made 500 euros, or the month before now you made 1,000 euros, the next month 2,000 euros, what you're doing is working. How does it work? Can I do that? The circle of success resolves really what Mark Hughes told us all from the very first day. If you take care of your customers and you care more about them and you care more about your distributors, that is the key to success. And thus the circle of success is really how you do that. So it's an exciting time in Herbalife. And to be quite honest, ever since I've been in the business, someone has always said you're at the right place at the right time. Well, guess what? You're at the right place at the right time. You couldn't be at a better place than in Herbalife and with Herbalife right now. It's unbelievable what's happening. It's incredible. It doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. You know what I mean? Just because we understand today better the business than ever before, just because we have maybe some methods, some concepts that people are using that are better than before, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. The reality is that it's going to take work. And the reality is, you know what? It's going to take looking at things maybe a little bit differently, trying some things that you've never tried before. And all of us in the room here, guess what? It's not the first time that we've had to do that. You know, when I started as a distributor, I was a bicycle racer. I never sold anything in my life. And you know what? It wasn't easy to go do what I did in the very beginning. It wasn't easy to put on a button. It wasn't easy to talk to people. But you know what? I wanted to be successful. I wanted for myself to be successful, to have success. And I put the time and the effort into it, and it paid off. And here's the reality. You know, life is very funny this way. Sometimes you think you have it all figured out, and sometimes you think what's going on in your life is exactly what should be happening. And it's going the way you want it, and something happens. You know, like some obstacle shows up and something happens. And it's in the moment that the thing happens that you really have a choice. Or you're going to do whatever it takes to get over the obstacle and make it happen, or you're going to let yourself be beat by the obstacle. Those are the two choices. Now here's what I know about Herbalife distributors, because I got part of my character from this. We are not the type of people that let ourselves be beat by obstacles. That's a reality. We don't let ourselves be beat by obstacles. It's never happened, and it never will. It's not who we are. It's not who we are. There are some risks. Figuring stuff out. Going back to work. Doing the thing. But here's the reality. The promise of the future and what's going to happen with the 3 and the 5 and the 10 and the 15 and the $20 billion, it only happens if you take the risk. It only happens if you're going to go back to work and learn the new skills, even if you don't know them, and what needs to be done. And this is Why for me today in Herbalife, I've never been more excited about the future. And I've never been more excited about what's going to happen. And I have no idea where I'm going to go, and I have no idea where this company is going to go. But I'll tell you this one thing. I'm going to be there, and I'm going to take the risk. And wherever it goes, I'm not going to miss what's going to happen in the future with Herbalife. So thank you very much.